Hello, friends. It is late afternoon on the Pacific Coast, about 3:30, Thursday, January 22nd. We're at the breaking point. What was is completely fractured and destroyed. Most people don't even realize it. The United States, in its first iteration, has ended, and most people don't realize it. And they don't realize we're at the breaking point, which is going to become very, very evident in the next 2 months. The United States is the most indebted nation on the planet, having about $40 trillion in debt. That debt is achieved by the Treasury selling Treasury bonds to people around the world and governments around the world. And it's an attractive means to have a guaranteed income because there is an interest rate that is set to make those bonds attractive to purchase. Now, there's a law called supply and demand. If you have a market that has a low supply of something that everyone wants, the price goes up. If you have a market that has a high supply of something that everyone wants, the price comes down. If you have a product or a service that has no demand and nobody wants, its price falls. So, we've reached a breaking point because our allies now, and I mean all of them, and our enemies now, all of them, have a common tool to rein in the United States. This year we will pay $1 trillion in interest payments on our debt. $1 trillion as the interest payment on our debt. We've reached a breaking point. Now, every year, we have been borrowing, including last year, at least $1 trillion. I don't know what the figure was for last year's budget, but I think it was close to $2 trillion. So we're literally borrowing money to pay interest. Okay, cool. Some people say, well, great. Everybody can do that. That's the way business is. Problem is, we still have the need to borrow, yet the market of people willing to buy debt from us is not only about to go away completely, but the market's also simultaneously going to be flooded with people trying to sell their treasuries. There's going to be a call for that repayment. What happens to a bank when more people want to withdraw money from it than there is money in the bank? We've reached a breaking point. So, if the Federal Reserve remains independent, they are going to be forced by the Treasury to raise interest rates because the Treasury, in order to make the sale of bonds possible, is going to have to raise the interest rate on those T-bills so that we can get some money because we can't tax enough. Because the billionaires aren't paying a damn thing. They're getting money from the government, actually. And because the economy has collapsed. That will force a lot of banks to call in a lot of loans, there's going to be a cascading crash across the entirety of the economy. Mortgage loans north of 15%, easy. Now, that's if the Federal Reserve remains independent and does what is the right thing to do in this situation, which is a credit crash. Now, if the Federal Reserve loses its autonomy and begins printing money, then we have hyperinflation. This time next year, a dozen eggs could be $120. Easy. We are at the breaking point. Most people don't realize it. There is nothing we can do now to avert this. Strap in. Go carefully, friends.